Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the November episode of the Strong Virtual Marketing Series. I'm John Paul Strong, and I'm here to discuss an important change for dealerships taking place next month. If you work in automotive, you've likely heard about the amended Safeguards Rule, also known as the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. The FTC's new requirements for dealerships go into effect on December 9th, 2022, and it's essential that both dealers and vendors be prepared. While we can't fit every requirement into one video, we'll look at some of the major changes coming up and review what dealerships must do to comply. The Safeguards Rule isn't new. It's been in effect for nearly 2 decades. It applies to how financial institutions protect customer data, and most dealerships fall under this classification. However, an amended version of the rule went into effect at the end of 2021. Dealerships have 1 year to become compliant before the FTC begins enforcing the rule, and we are quickly approaching that deadline. The goal is to protect sensitive customer data from malicious use, and the burden of that protection now falls on the dealership. Now, I'll go over some of the major changes taking place. First, designating a qualified individual to oversee the security program. Second, written risk assessment, including a network vulnerability assessment. Third, written information security program. Fourth, data encryption. Fifth, multi-factor authentication. Sixth, continuous network monitoring or annual testing and twice annual vulnerability assessment. Seventh, oversight of service providers. 8, access controls. 9, annual written report to senior management or dealership ownership. There are a lot of terms here, so we'll review each one in a little more depth. A qualified individual is a single individual the dealership designates to bear responsibility for the program. This person doesn't have to be qualified to carry out the technical duties, but they must be qualified to competently oversee that the duties are performed and documented. A written risk assessment is what it sounds like: a document outlining the risk identified in your data security protocol. The Written Information Security Program, or WISP, is your master plan for ensuring data security's compliance. It doesn't have to be written from scratch. NADA has a template that is free for members in its dealer guide to the FTC Safeguards Rule. Data encryption means that customer data must be encrypted while being sent, and also while being stored. For example, you can no longer send certain customer data via unencrypted email. Multi-factor authentication requires you to have more than one checkpoint before gaining access to customer data. You might already be familiar with this on certain websites, which require you to enter a password and then enter a code texted to your phone before logging in. For the required continuous network monitoring or annual penetration testing and twice annual vulnerability assessments, dealers must specify which one they plan to use in their WISP. We recommend continuous network monitoring. This consists of software that monitors your network 24/7 for possible breaches. A service provider is any person or entity that receives, uses, processes, stores, or has access to your customers' information while providing services to your dealership. This can include vendors such as advertising partners, banks, and IT support. The access controls provision requires dealers to place access controls on all information systems. The annual written report requires your qualified individual to report in writing and at least annually to your board of directors or equivalent governing body. The report must include the overall status of the security program and compliance with the safeguards rule. The FTC will begin enforcing compliance on December 9th. However, the biggest threat comes from consumer class action lawsuits. These are allowed by the FTC since the safeguards rule violation constitutes a deceptive trade practice. The first federal class action lawsuit citing the safeguards rule was filed only 1 month after the rules launched. Strong is considered a service provider under the updated FTC rules. As such, we have taken the necessary measures to ensure our clients' data is protected in compliance with the new rules. We take our data security seriously and have partnered with data compliance specialists to remove any uncertainty over our role in keeping clients on the right side of the law. If you have any questions about how Strong is complying with the new data amendment, contact your account executive today. Thank you again for watching this month's episode of the Strong Virtual Marketing Series. Be sure to check back in December for another update on the latest in automotive marketing.